Well, let me share with you a couple of the stories because they are extraordinary, as you would expect. Um, I'll start with a sort of a cautionary tale about the power of our convictions, the power of our beliefs. And the story centers around a man named Mr. Wright, who was in the hospital in the 60s or 70s, I think it was, with lymphoma. And he was very, very ill. He was about gone. He had visible tumors on his body. His lungs were filled with fluid. He had very little energy. But he was kind of an innate optimist as a person. And he discovered this article, read this article that a chemotherapy treatment was about to be trialed in the very hospital where he was sick. And it was a chemotherapy treatment for lymphoma.
Mm.
And so even though he didn't fit the group of people that they wanted to trial, because essentially he was too far gone, nonetheless, he talked his doctor, Dr. West, into giving him the treatment. So Dr. West gave him an injection of a drug called crebiazine on a Friday afternoon. Dr. West went home, came back on Monday, and Mr. Wright was up, ambulatory, had no fluid in his lungs. All his tumors had vanished. And he checked out of the hospital 2 days later and flew home in his own airplane.
Ah.
But this is where it starts to be a cautionary tale, because Mr. Wright, about a month later, read an article that said crebiazine was completely ineffective.
Oh,
And all the trials were coming up with very poor results. He immediately crashed back into the identical condition. His lungs filled up with fluid, tumors returned, checked himself back into the hospital, pretty much in the same state that he was when he got that very first injection.